We've been kicking butt with some Warlock. Let's do some Warlock, try to wash that taste out of our mouth. I think this is the 3-drop. Let's see. Yeah. That's an underrated card. Well, there's only one pick here. Let's look for Spellstones then. Siphon? Probably Rustsworn. Yeah, I mean, it could be that the way that my playstyle has developed in the past couple years is incompatible with how Priest works right now. Because my last 0-win run was a Priest run too, and I tried to draft aggressive on the board. It just didn't work at all. So I tried the aggressive Priest, it didn't work. Tried Control Priest a couple times, went 1 and 2 wins. That wasn't really Control so much as mid-range, so I've tried every archetype then. Aggressive, Control, and mid-range. I had one good Priest deck. I should go back and look at the list on that one, probably. Hellfire? Or just a 2-drop? Probably Hellfire. 2-drop's much better win rate. But I do feel like Hellfire... I do feel like Hellfire is important in some matchups. We're looking really curvy. We're looking curvy, chat. Let me take a Gargoyle and try to keep the curve going. Get a beautiful Zoo Genius deck here. These make a lot of sense, for what we got going on. Which do I prefer? Personally, I'm a fan of the Sneaky Devil, but I think Raid Leader is better. Og Merchant's win rate is kind of through the roof. I could take it here. We could take an Og Merchant here. We have 2 Evil Geniuses. We could do it on turn 3. So far, I adore this deck. What a pick! Chat, what do you think about this? 2 win conditions right here. I think I know what I'm wanting, but I'd like to hear what you think. Morning Blobby? That's not one of the picks! Hi, Robopop. Good morning to you. Scrap Imp. There's one card here, Scrap Imp, I assume. You got, well, Basilisk is so good, you gotta... I think it's Scrap Imp. Oh, interesting. Stonehill takes us to Value Town. But Creepy Painting probably does some damn good work in a zoo deck such as what we have here. Scrap Imp makes it a 2/8. You have 2 Aug Merchants to ping things to death. You probably got stuff on the board to make trades. But will they be value trades? Painting Bog Beast. You could, like, Painting and then Fungal Mancer and make a value trade. Siphon Soul with Painting. So what about Stonehill? What does that do for us? It gets us taunts, which are great. Perhaps Taynar looks like Blobby. Paint me. Why not? Is Rafam good? I think that Fordring is probably good for us, because it pulls the Dreadlord. Yeah, Rafam's win rate is not that good. We actually want our deck to be our deck, I think. I see, I see. That tracks. Foil me? We don't have a Spellstone yet. We would like to get one. I think Librarian's a great setup for Genius. Feel like we should probably take it here. I do like the Plumber as well. I've been rediscovering some serious respect for the Librarian. I'm talking serious respect. So our archetype wants Firefly very badly, but this little gap in our teeth right here was Kobold Monk, which is a fantastic body. It would be amazing with Fungal Mancer. Nice to stick behind a Forge Ring. With Firefly, you could do like a 3 and a 1 on 4, but it's not the same. So I'm actually really torn here. Monk. Probably we hope to get a couple of 4s in the last 10 picks, and we take Firefly. Like, we want like a Scorpid or something. Firefly is the ideal setup for Evil Genius, and we have 2 of those things. We take the Shadows. Rewarded. And we could use a 2-drop as well, to be honest. You could tap on 2. Both of these 4s are nice. Argus? We have a lot of taunts already. It might just be the Monk. Argus is like a better card. I'm gonna pee. You think about this one, chat. See the conclusions that chat has come to. No conclusions! I give you homework. Tolvir or Argus? I think it's that Tolvir. Tolvir would be good, though. I mean, you could do a 2 Ingenious on 4. It's such a D tempo, though. Alright, well, let's see how Argus treats us. I think we've got a good curve for it. Dust me? Dust me. It's better than Librarian, I think. Stranger. I like it. Primalist seems bad. I could take a Sporling here. But maybe it's actually Stegodon. Like, we lack 4s, so let's just take a Stegodon. Why not? It's good for our curve. Yeah, win condition. Like a Beetle. This deck looks really good to me. Staff me. Interesting. You could take Portal Keeper even though it's so much worse. It's a 4. Probably you want Voidwalker. Brawler's got the best win rate. Let's see, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1-drops. Of those, 1, 2, 3, 4 are really nice to play on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-drops. Maybe we would rather have Brawler. It's nice to buff too. Last pick. Is this good? We could take it. Makes sense in our deck, right? Let's try it. I like our list. Nice little zoo. Nice little Zooey Zoo. Nice little Deschanel. Vancouver. Point 2s. But do we need all 3 of them? No, we want to throw one of them away. But the Beetle and Gargoyle comp, you know what? Let's just keep all of them. Beetle on 1, Gargoyle on 2 to buff it, Stranger on 3 with a oh my god. With a secret. Paladin secret. Or if they play a... Okay, let's think through it. If they play a 3-2, this is probably the best line. If they play a 2-3, I like the Beetle plus the buff. We could also block and then buff on 3 with this. Many options, many flexibles. Play like a 1-4. Oh, yes! Oh, man. We could scrap next turn, right? It's too good. Giga Chad! Oh, man. Call your shots. Countered. Uncountered. Maybe we do a secret next turn, or we could like tap. Ouch. Countered. How many counters can you get? I feel like I'm in a kitchen museum. So this is best for the board. But this would also be nice to catch a buff. Force a hero power on 5. Is Arbor up a thing? I don't think that's around. It's like a power move for Druid on 5. They have the 1 minion, the choose 1 minion. I think I want Brawler to... I think I want Brawler to get the buff. I don't know. Is it ever cheat death? The only thing that we have that... Well, you could... I'm clueless. I don't have a clue, man. Okay. Brawler plus leader. They trade in 50-50. Feels kind of bad, but... You gotta take risks to make risks. You can quote me on that. Incineration? Come on. Maybe not the worst thing. Just trade the 3-3 in if they don't block here. Okay. Kill this. Worst result. This comes out as a 5-5 still? Or, oh man. I think we're doing okay this game though. We got Dreadlord. Got Bog Beast draw. We have plenty of health to tap with. Interesting. Thanks. That helps me a lot, actually. It's not really worth the siphon. Here's the thing. We could tap. We just taunt and go face play a 5-5, right? Because we have another taunt coming out next turn, and we have the Dreadlord coming out next turn. We don't need to tap right now. Sure. That's cool. But not that amazing for you. It's alive! Oh, baby. Well, here's the thing, though. How can we do this in a way that makes sense? This came out before this. I do believe. So we could trade these and get a bird. And then siphon you. I think that's a very strong line. Give me the bird. Decent pool. It's a lot of stats, my friend. 4, 8, 11, 14. I got stats too, though. And I'll get up again! I ain't never gonna keep me down. Put him to 11, 4, 7. Let's do like a cheeky double trade here. Still sets up plenty of lethal. And keeps them from getting really nice value trades. Tub thumping. Anybody see any good horror movies? Anybody watching the horror movies? Cranking out the old spooky season classics? Anybody see anything unsettling, distressing, disturbing, perturbing? Is it really? I would've never thumped. Thunk. Who'da thumped it? Okay. We did a nice job dismantling that druid. I was so delighted by our early game. The plated beetle into the 1/4. Ah. Splooge. So good it felt scripted. Hey, what am I paying these actors for? Sir Swebby. Okay. 1 drop? I like it. I like it because we protect it. I haven't seen Genius yet. Not sweating it. Oh, we did... Did we draw one in the late game? Maybe. You trade in Stranger, you can Brawler and play a Paladin Secret, probably. We might not roll one. Double sack. Noble Sack slots in well enough. This is, I would consider this drawing heavy for our deck. So I figured they'd double play out the 1/1s. What is this? What could that be? Og Merchant. Jury duty? If it's jury duty, we won. Oh man. I'll risk the dude's synergy. Oh my god. Funnily enough, tempo lackeys might be really useful here, but I'm not gonna complain. Okay, no dude synergy. Four. Watched the first episode of the Midnight Club. Meh. That's a shame. I'm still excited to watch it. I love the showrunner, Mike Flanagan. But, shame that it's meh. It's more youth-targeted, right? I don't really know the property. It's like more youth-targeted than his other stuff. So I'm not, like, expecting another Midnight Mass or Hill House or whatever, but... Hey, that works out well for us. Noble Sack. Killing it. Raid leader not necessary. But what is necessary? Not you. We'll go Stego with what? Dragon probably wants to come out later. Unless it's Dragon Maw. So let's take this. Interesting. Ooh, interesting. If we believe we'll be able to stay ahead on the board, Nefarian seems like a smart line. If we think we might lose the board, Deathwing is a great backup plan. Random paladin spells. This could be the death of us. I'm gonna attempt Nefarian, because I feel like we're so far ahead in this early game. Hubris, I know. That we can play this, go Dreadlord into Nefarian, and have some nice spells. Never hits the 6-1, always hits the 6-1, trash, bomber. Characters felt too shallow and predictable. Alright. I love the show. I thought the ending was a little weak, but I was super into it. The characters are like stock archetypes, but when you write stock archetypes with clear drama, I see no problem. But more so than the characters. And I like the characters and the way that they are, like, actually talking about things that high schoolers are concerned with, rather than the way that people usually write them. More than that, I really liked the intensity of the show, I guess. Probably want to do, like, a... Scrap Amp, Raid Leader, Lackey? Or maybe we do want to just get this down now. It had been a while since I'd seen a piece of zombie fiction with, like, actual intensity. Mixing subjects like cancer with spooky stories is not a good combination. What? Maybe I'll like it then, because I couldn't think of a better combination. What's more horrifying than cancer? That's like perfect fodder for horror to me. It's bad taste? Disagree 100%. It all depends on how you execute it. Now, I would have to see the episode to know what I think about it. But art is what allows us to process all of the horrible things or wonderful things that could happen in our lives. I think nothing is off the table when it comes to art. I believe that very firmly. You know, there was a lot of discussion around House of the Dragon. There was a scene of childbirth gone very wrong, and a lot of people were like, we don't need to see that portrayed on the screen. It's tasteless, you know, it's 2022, let's get past that. I disagree 100%. I think there are even more people out there for whom a depiction like that helps them work through trauma that they've experienced in their lives. I think art can and should touch on all the most sensitive subjects that you can imagine. But not everyone should be touching on those subjects if they don't really have a personal connection to it or a frame of reference. We didn't need 3 scenes of it though. Oh, you're talking about House of the Dragons? I'm not saying they did a good job. I'm saying the critique shouldn't be, don't show that on the screen. The critique should be, let's talk about how badly House of the Dragons is doing this in its execution and why that matters. Because if you're making the claim that you should never show death through childbirth on screen, then you're completely repressing the entire conversation that we should be having about why the show should be better. You know what I'm saying? The saddest Tarim? Man, there was a real good Tarim the other day. This one is quite sad. I faced a real good Tarim the other day. It was scary. I forgot that that card was around. Let me just take your Tarim. Let us not tarry. But a lot of Mike Flanagan's work touches on these issues. He has made work about terminal illness before. He's made work about family abuse and trauma before. He's made work about, like, inherited generational trauma, cultural trauma. And it's very clear to me that he's, like, seen some shit in his life that he's, like, trying to work through in his art. I think that's extraordinarily valuable. We win, right? So we have art, we have Arga, let's do this. And then like one of these. Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan. You know, a good example is Oculus. He made a movie called Oculus that's about an evil, spooky mirror. And you could make a movie about an evil, spooky mirror that's like, ooh, the evil mirror is spooky and like no substance to it. But that movie was about a family working through its trauma from decades past. And the mirror becomes a metaphor for the unreliability of memory and the way that we all create narratives in our heads constantly, and how it's so hard to connect with other loved ones sometimes because our narratives can be incompatible with theirs. And how do you reconcile that? How do you work through that? And doing all that in a like spooky horror movie, I think that's super, super cool. There's something particularly egregious about edgy, distasteful art. If something is just irreverent, I find it kind of easy to dismiss. But edgy things have a pedagogical tone that feels particularly unearned. Yeah, you know, if you're making art about trauma or cancer or whatever it is, with the intention of being edgy about it, then I do agree. In that case, I agree with Shinkyo that it's in bad taste. So it's very context dependent for me. You coin out a lackey? I think it might be a good idea. It's like a significant impact on the board here. Yeah. Same with the Lord of the Rings show. Okay. Frank and I watched an episode of Rings of Power last night. Finally, after 5 episodes of absolute trash, finally they made an entertaining episode. I'm not gonna say it was good, but I actually enjoyed watching episode 6, which is the first time I can say that of any of them. I think we duster and trade. We could also do a genius thing. Partially think we duster and trade to play around some AoE. So AoE, like a Hellfire doesn't work, and we screw up their minions. Seems good. But, you know, I kept saying this while we were watching the episode. Writing is hard. It's worth remembering that writing is really hard, like writing well. And I'm as guilty of armchair quarterbacking as anyone. Like, I could sit back and watch a thing and, like, dissect it from a critical perspective. And that's a worthwhile thing to do. But when nothing existed before and you're trying to bring something into existence in a way that's dramatically compelling and satisfying, that's a tall order. You go Argus here. And you can tell that the writers of Rings of Power don't understand dramatic conflict in a core way. And it's just mostly sad. It's a shame because of like what we could have had. But the showrunners of that show are yet another it's 2 showrunners, and it's yet another in the long series of the past couple decades of white men without much on their resume to speak of who get handed the keys to the biggest franchises in the world because the studios know that they can manipulate them into delivering anodyne products that don't make hardly any impact whatsoever. Fungal Face. They get a good trade on this, though. I'm trying to see another line that makes sense to me. I'm not super succeeding. You could go Sketchy, Genius, and then maybe play a Secret. It's a bit of a D-tempo, though. 11 damage face right now puts him to 17. Oh my. Maybe Kidnap? Maybe Kidnap there? Ooh, that's nice. Alright. Oh my god, so good. Mike Flanagan, haven't been a fan of any of his movies so far. I recommend the Dr. Sleep director's cut. I think in some ways it's his most full and complete film. And one of the best Stephen King adaptations. Which is so amazing because the Dr. Sleep book I read and it's terrible. But the movie is slaps. It's so good. Bump bump. Bada bump bum. Bada 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 bada. Let's do this. I'm interested in keeping their board clear. Make a trade here. Pick up a dragon. Pick up that dragon. Ouija Origin of Evil is a good movie too. One of the best prequels ever made because the original movie is a heap of trash. But the prequel is somehow good. I think Stephen King's wildly overrated in general. I'm a fan of Stephen King. But I also don't disagree that he's overrated. When he's on, he's on. But when he's off, he's off. Ooh. Ooh. Let's not kill this. What do you think about Bloodlust these days? Kids these days, too into Bloodlust. Shaman usually doesn't work like that right now. Shaman's not, like, aggressive on the board class for the most part. I could see you building a low curve, lots of evolve synergy, Bloodlust Shaman deck. But if you're gonna draft Bloodlust, I would say it has to come probably pretty late in the draft. And then the deck has to make sense with it. Writing isn't just trying and missing, I think it's more cynical oftentimes. The system that generated a piece of media is unsalvageable. Yeah, I mean, but, you know, critical reflection is also hard sometimes. Just Spellstone that, right? App. Okay, sure. But, yeah. Bad writing can be endemic to a culture. Meaning, like, there can be a culture of bad writing that perpetuates itself by passing wrong lessons on to new generations of writers. Like the J.J. Abrams mystery box thing. Like George Lucas' Hero's Journey stuff. It's people inheriting the wrong lessons from people who may or may not have originally known what they were doing in the first place. And Rings of Power demonstrates very poignantly a great many of those inherited foibles. Here's what I think about Rings of Power, and if anyone is watching this show, you're not gonna be able to unsee this. Or if you're like about to watch the show, you're not gonna be able to unsee this. Good game. And, you know, I've talked about my problems with the writing. It's not a spoiler, it's not a spoiler. No, it's not a spoiler. Spoiler free. I probably couldn't spoil Rings of Power if I wanted to because no plot developments have occurred, but spoiler free. I talked about my problems with the writing. Here's the problem I have as a director. I've directed my fair share of theater. Ensemble work. Directing is hard too. But every single crowd scene in Rings of Power, this is driving me nuts. Every single scene with crowds, and there's a lot of them because it's, you know, it's a grand fantasy epic. Pay attention to two things. One, all of the extras that they hire to be in these crowd scenes stand equally spaced from each other as if they're arranged on a chessboard. When people are in crowds, they don't stand exactly 1.5 feet apart in a patchwork pattern. But even more than that, is it possibly to do with COVID filming regulations? It may have something to do with that, but it's unforgivable to create a visual that artificial. You can invent a million billion... There's always other answers. There's always other answers. But even more than that, every single time a crowd needs to generate some sort of emotional response, they always do it the exact same way. Everyone in the crowd goes, "Yeah!" with one fist in the air like this. "Yeah!" at the same time. It doesn't matter if it's excitement, anger, dread, victory, whatever it is. Everyone in the crowd goes, "Yeah!" It's one fist in the air like that. They look like NPCs in a video game. Anytime there's an emotional moment. Ah! Whether it's like, "We're going to victory," or, "Yeah, kill that elf." It's always this. It's such bad directing, man. It drives me insane. And like, once I noticed it, and started looking out for it, it's like it's every single time. Doesn't matter if it's a Numenorian crowd, a bunch of orcs, it doesn't matter. Try to set up like an Argus or something. They only know binary emotions. If I were a peasant, I would only have two emotions. One, standing very still, 1.5 feet away from my compatriots. Two, continuing to stand still, but raising one fist in the air and shaking it at an interval of 2.5 seconds. Those are my two emotions. Okay, so you could siphon that just to prevent the buff from happening. Not terribly interested in that. Run this in. Shadow Waltz. At 3 health, they could heal, make a hit. Maybe I am terribly interested in that. It would be a shame to waste the siphon, though. 4-3. You could Argus and get through by trading. Not a terrible idea. What if you only Argus this? Keep that hidden behind. It's weak to Holy Nova-ish. But mostly is like fine. It seems good to me. I noticed this episode 4-ish. We watched episode 6 last night. I swear to God, it happened 4 different times with the fist. It looks like a PlayStation 3 era NPC crowd. And it makes sense that Robopop's saying the crowd seeds are like mirrored with CGI. Cause like they're all programmed on the same NPC loop. That's a nice dress in that picture though. That's a very cute dress. I'll give the Rings of Power one thing. The costumes are mediocre. I'll give it that much. If I'm being generous. There's some scenes with swordplay in the background. Some extras were just hacking their sword at nothing into the air. Yeah, and to be clear, I want to pinpoint, this is not an actor problem. It's not the extras are bad. The extras... It's a directing problem. And in film, it might actually be an assistant directing problem, to be even more specific, because I think the assistant director handles everything with the extras. For, like, some union reasons. Could Shadow Waltz now? Trade the 1-3. Yeah, it's specifically you trade the 1-3 if you're gonna Shadow Waltz. Maybe even play Flame Imp. Don't need to play Brawler here. CGI just isn't natural. It often isn't, but it's more like an over-reliance on CGI. Like, you could use CGI in a totally natural way. Do you think that's the problem with knowing something deeply? Like, your directing background makes you more attuned to that in media? Whereas my specialism, where I see it badly portrayed, gives me similar feelings of cringe? Yes, but I would argue that our human brains notice the, in this case, bad directing of crowds and internalize it in our feelings about the media, but we just don't always know how to name it, how to put our fingers on it. My background in directing gives me the ability to see that and then, like, kind of, diagnose what exactly is going on there, you know? It's something that we all notice on some level, but your background lets you engage with it more directly or with more insight, I guess? Interesting. Start me with a tap. Ooh. I don't know, something like that. Holy Nova would be pretty damn good for them. They're actually stuck in a video game the whole time. Well, I mean, if it's fun for you, Gary Glabe, keep dabbling and making your own tunes, and try to shut that voice up that's saying this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Try to shut that voice up. I have to do it every time I sit down to write. Yeah, there you go, Robopop. That's a perfect image for what I'm talking about. You're not gonna be able to unsee it. I apologize. Because when you're making art, it's very easy to poop all over it as you're making it, but that's because it's not finished, and all art is a process, and it's about the process. So if you enjoy the making of the art, just keep at it. It's not something that ever has to be released into the world, it ever has to see the light of day. And if you engage in the process, that's how you improve, right? Why do you call? 'Cause you never do. Directing what? Me? Plays. Theater. If you want to see some stuff that I directed, some digital theater, you could check out this Twitch theater piece that I made with my partner. Actually, my partner directed this one, and I performed and like helped write it. Or you could see this Zoom theater piece that I did direct, and that my partner acted in. Talking about Angry Bee here. Hit here and Hog Merchant. Hog Merchant and Librarian. Or you could just sketchy and sit. They hit. And you have a 3-drop coming. Kill the 1/3. I don't think we need to double 1 here. I would like to find a secret. I'll take that secret. That's fine. We said. You make your own websites? My, like... I have a website with, like, my theaters, like, resume and background and images and stuff on it. It's just a Wix site. Like, I generated it with Wix. I don't know anything about coding or whatever. So, like, I made it, but I made it from a template. I didn't make it. Interesting. What are you? Verge? Nope. Anyone can notice that it's strange, maybe not necessarily exactly why. Yeah, my favorite critic calls this tangible details theory. Oftentimes when people watch media and come away not liking it, it's because there's something wrong with, for example, the story structure that keeps you from investing in the characters. But because not everybody studies story structure, their minds are going to latch onto the tangible details of the art, the most noticeable things. And so often, people will, for example, blame actors for a movie being bad because they were watching the actor the whole time, when it's very infrequently an actor's fault that something sucks. They'll be like, oh, I just hate Tom Cruise movies, or whatever. Because it's just the most visible, tangible thing that they can notice. Interesting. Let me still og the 1/1. We got some decent bodies out here. As soon as I show someone something I created, I immediately hate it. I hate stuff that I make, like, as I'm doing it. Sometimes when I show it to other people, they think more highly of it than me. In some ways, we're our own worst critiques. It's suffocating shadow that's a... They gave me a homunculus? Good news. Okay, trade. Suffocate. Reckon. Sure. Reckon Ralph. This is gonna come out, and whatever big minion they play is gonna have to slam into this and get reckoned. It could be both, Cosmic. Probably both most of the time. That's the thing about writing, is that, like, you don't write a first draft and be done. Writing is rewriting. Like, almost no one can pump out a first draft of something and have it be good. And if you're writing something and you're like, man, this sucks as you're making it, it's only going to impede you from doing the work that you need to do. I think we should kill this first and freeze this so it doesn't get a bunch of healing. Let me start with Genius. Let me start with making my music go. Well, well, well. Call that a change of plans. Doomsayer. Okay, good. So basically, that's why I say it always has to be about the process. Because if you want something to be good right away, you're never gonna make anything, really. And nobody who made anything worth making made it good right away. Even though it seems from the outside like they must have, because it's so good at the end, you know? So you gotta tamp down that self-consciousness and just enjoy the process. True, Robopop. Yeah, what Tomo is saying is very true, that a big part of learning is learning your own deficiencies. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be making the thing, it means that you're gonna make it better next time. Honestly, I'm into the smork here. I'm smelling some smork. I enjoy singing, but I suck at it. Same. And you know what? I got this... You know, I sang yesterday. Yesterday or the day before? Yesterday. I sang yesterday on stream because someone channel points redeemed it. That would not have been possible if I let myself continue to be self-conscious about it, but I had a dear friend who... And the only reason I play the ukulele is because my friend was like, you just gotta do it. You just gotta learn it and do it and not be like, oh, I'm bad at it, you know? Maybe we creepy painting here? Hang on a second. Can we get lethal? 4, 5, 6. We're 1 off lethal? It's worth it. And we can still do the painting, so everybody wins, especially us. I grew up with the notion that I am bad at music, like, a priori, because that's how my family talked about music. They're like, oh, we don't have musical talent. But if you're willing to play and fail, you'll be surprised about the number of things that you can actually do and participate in. I liked "My family is music." I thought that was evocative. Oh no, it's the metaverse! Oh no! Don't make me buy property that I will never use. No! Not the metaverse. Where's my legs? Well, we threw away an atrocious hand, and we received a pretty atrocious hand. Buy digital property, Blobby. Pay no mind to the fact that the reason that property ownership exists in the first place is because you need a physical space upon which to reside with your human meat body. Pay no mind to that. Buy digital property. Doesn't make sense in an infinite... Never mind. Imp me! That is a fantastic draw. Now we just need to draw something to bridge the gap between here and here and here. I guess that works. Wasn't the imp nerfed to be a 3-1? It was nerfed and then unnerfed. I don't think it was a 3-1 though. I mean, this kind of... Giving them spell damage might be really bad. I'm not sure if this was the line. Eager felt... Maybe Eager was the play. Felt a little weird. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought the buff was different too. It was +2/+1. I've been sitting here surprised at how strong my hand gets after Scrap Imp. Well, honestly, if that's their line, I'm fine. I'm fine with their line.
Put some gloves on. What a tragedy. Better write this down.
The hover over text says +2/+2 for me, but on the interface maybe, like the Twitch interface. Interesting. Trade and Big Beast, I think. Seems good. Is it... Is it Deathborn? No.
I will crush your delusions of grandeur.
Touch. Three. Seven.
For the roast, my lord.
Sure. I was gonna get this down, but we can wait a second. I'll take that. Shoot you. I just really like this hit. And Garg me. I'll trade. Why not? Gotta start going face soon, though. Yeah, algorithms and AI are tools for remixing, and they're really cool, but they are not replacements. Okay, there's no way to creepy painting and get the eccentric, so let's take that off the table. But what do we put on the table? Maybe kill, put these two down, or we could just do this and Smork. Smork's a little alarming. I do think I want to trade it. Let's do this and trade it down. I do want to trade. Because of AoE. Yeah, useful for sure. Useful like a tool. Like a pencil. Oh, they're gonna start... They're gonna start smorking us with the... Ooh, scary. Okay. I need healing. I need healing. That's what we're looking for right here. Will you be giving the new AIs rights? No, because I'm not in charge of anything. I can't give anybody rights. Oh my god. No, don't do me like that. The burn mage strikes again. There's so much. There's so much. Well, I think with the Sin Runner play that we did, the idea was, like, kill the Sin Runner, maybe get that lifesteal out, heal desperately before they complete their burn. They just had so much that we didn't have time. We've been having a lot of runs the last couple of days that are like 5-0, 8-0, 10-0, and then dive off a cliff. Let's try to keep this one going. The call of the cliff. The mini meta decent now? I've enjoyed the meta basically the whole time. since the mini set came out. I think it's a little bit better post micro adjust as well. Give me minions that are reasonably playable. Clutch. This eager underling has yet to be particularly useful, but maybe this will be its game. The Mortal Coil top deck's annoying. I threw you away for a reason. What's the secret to winning? Hey, keep watching the channel. You can figure it out alongside with me, because every day is a learning experience here in the dungeon. And I do not have a secret to distill. But every time I talk out loud about what should we have done different, maybe we can learn something together. But the secret is Ironbeak Owl. Good duster, good duster. Netflix gave up on a helpful algorithm for recommendations a long time ago and just jammed their original content all the way down your throat, through your stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and out the anal cavity. If you know what I'm saying. You got a few different lines here. You could taunt this up, make it a 4/6. Coil that next turn. Seems solid. What I don't know is whether we're supposed to trade a dude or not. 3 damage, 4/5. I will go face with great trepidation. Meta is less exciting due to the lower overall power levels. Yeah, and as someone who does play every day, the meta is 7,000 times better because of it, you know? If you're playing like a few games a week, then maybe it's a little less fun. Well, we got punished. We got punished for our line. This is that collapse, man! I feel like I'm riding high, and then my first loss just sends me into a skid. It's happened like this a lot. This is not that good. I think we need to try to genius our way out of this. So, by time, missed? Missed creepy painting? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I thought this was the dungeon chapel today. The dungeon is the anal cavity of the building. Don't you know? We're gonna try to big brain corrupting mist ourselves out of this situation. Three, 6, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe, huh? Maybe. Big maybe energy. Let me just slurp you right up. However... However, if we had one more mana, it would be a lot better. Let's delay. Let's delay. Maybe siphon something else. They play like a 4/10 taunt here. Could you describe the chapel for us? It's kind of like if the sphincter had a clitoris. We don't have any plays! Do we play this? We'll get Dreadlord, which is nice. Leaves much to the imagination. I mean, only for men who have never encountered the clitoris. It's other people generally don't have to imagine much there. Pretty anatomical. Deep Hearthstone humor lore. If we Dreadlord Og Merchant 1/1. Dreadlord has 7 health. That just clomps right in, and then we die. I would prefer not to die. Painting, siphon that. We have a 4/5 haunt. Og Merchant this. We're 2 off dying. Nothing's good. Is there a play that lets us sudden betrayal? Yeah, there is. Maybe that's the line. I think this is our best chance. General? Yeah. They attacked with the right one. I was hoping it'd be with one of the other ones. Oh. Oh my god! Oh, man. Come on! 5 wins, not good enough. Not good enough, I don't accept that. You could totally keep Argus. I want my 1-drop, so I want to start strong. It's not a 1-drop. The 1 cost. Playing semantic games with me, deck. Okay. We have a potentially pretty good progression here. We can freeze the 2-1. And then Duster and Coil the 2-1 on 4. Huh. Or do a different thing.
So many possibilities.
Is it cold in the shadows?
Almost out of time.
The culprit was not tidy.
It's really annoying. It's really annoying. Hmm. I can't see what makes sense here. It's the best I got. There's like some kind of insane lines where you put the creepy painting down. Like you trade the 3/4 and then put the creepy painting down and think about siphoning. Or you trade the sheep. It doesn't quite click in for me. I will use the shadows if we have to. Just like Bane. Maybe it's like... I mean, we don't have a choice.
Is it cold in the shadows?
You know what? We'll call that enough of a combo to play. Pretty pathetic, but we need something to... Oh my god. Okay, we're in business. Turn 8 Siphon Creepy is really promising. What do we do in the meantime? We could actually just fungal on our lackeys if we wanted to. Let's not though. I mean, it would be fine. Well, let's see first.
Where you followed?
On the wings of evil. Almost out of time.
A little bit of a tough call between those two. Against Mage, you don't take Onyxia as a Deathborn. Against Warlock, I still think you don't because hard removal is a thing. Are they planning on Hellfiring or something? Just playing minions? They've got the Genius now. We didn't get the best dragon, but we got two very good ones, so... Okay, they get the Titanic. I mean, Primordial looks really lovely. Just give him a cordial Primordial. Doesn't damage other dragon-giving minions. Oh, great. No. Turn 8, so no Burly Shovel Fist yet. 15 cards in their deck. Got a happy hand, happy hand. The middle game was so sketchy. I'm glad this Warlock wasn't, like, very fast. Okay. Okay, this is looking to me like a Fungalmancer turn. Do you ever Alexstrasza the Pterodax? Eh... No. No, here's what you do. Start with this. And you trust your Primordial Drake. They didn't have hard removal last turn. You trust. You trust in its fidelity. Yeah. Very nice. Sorry, I mean... Yeah!
Gul'dan versus Gul'dan. I will not be denied. Your soul shall be mine.
I like that hand. Another Warlock? Ooh, good, good, good. Good, 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 good. Yes, this is very nice. Loud. Alright, let's scrimp and save. I met my maker and got my computer. I was sick. Oh. Oh. See, that person was not weighing down their fishing with weights to cheat. Let's not get carried away here. I'm gonna stay on curve and mess up their curve. That's how we don't get de-tempoed to death. Okay. Fair. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fun dungeon. Anyone else out there hasn't followed me? Make sure you press the button. It's a good button. Genius. Are we willing to kill a 3/3? 4/4 and a 4/4? Versus a 4/3 and a 3/3? It's an interesting question. We probably have our next turn lined up. Let me just freeze. We'll just freeze for now. You could have also tap and initiated. Maybe that's better. Waltz me. Tap and initiate. Interesting. In retrospect, I like tap and initiate. But our line... That would be good for them. But... there are certain advantages to getting it down first. Maybe. Even probably. But not definitely. See? That's a good answer. What are we gonna do about that? Panic? Pain and panic? I want the 4/4 down to push damage. Even though this Divine Shield gets knocked off, I think it's worth it. Never GG until the game is over. All those words sound very impressive to me, Cosmic. What they mean? That's between you and God. Another one? They just did the same play twice. That's funny as hell. Alright, well, we got a Dreadlord to play. You keep doing your plays, I'll keep doing mine. Hard removal is fairly effective. I know, right, Robopop? There's that hard removal. Um... Watch me get PO'd when they have a third Hellfire. I feel it coming. But the more damage we get face, this gets 2 extra damage face. The more damage we get face, the better, because it makes it harder for them to tap. Immolation Aura on 2 and 3. I played against a Demon Hunter like that recently. Siphon. 1 off. We could go for the lethal right now, 1 and 3. Is it worth it? It might be worth it because we can still Evil Genius. No. Now they can't tap anymore. Perhaps we will regret using the hard removal, but for a 1 in 3 chance at immediate lethal, take that risk sometimes. Yeah, that's fair. Hell of a game. Infinite! Good luck to you, Cosmic. Nothing is more triggering than internet difficulties. Especially if your livelihood is affected. It's been a rocky road to get here, Zaniho. Oh, hey, you beat my butt earlier. Congrats on that, by the way. You wiped the floor with me, right? Sorry, I was trying to have some fun. In that game, I was the poor guy, 135. I like Firefly first, so that they can't just dagger it. If it's Kidnap, we love Evil Genius here. If it's Ambush, we do not love it. That deck went 2 and 3? What? I guess it was a very particular win condition that you had against us. And if you don't get that started, then I can see how it would poop out. My priests have been that way. Okay. Interesting maneuver from our opponent here. Yeah? Tempo, here we come. We got a one-way ticket to Tempo Town. The early secret is a little bit big-brained. Because they know we still have coin, right? And we're probably gonna do like a curve coin play. Let me start with you. Or maybe you. I kinda wanna force their Scorpid into this 2-3. As far as I'm concerned, that's a raid leader well done. Nice. I don't know, Siphon doesn't really sit right with me. I'm gonna try to draw something. Painting. Well, that's not really playable here. Not playable because if you take Twilight Drake, which you can, you just get a 4-1. But a wide board is strong against a rogue, so I feel good about that, at least. We have a lot of health, also very good against rogue. Take a 6-4. Really? Man, Scrapyard doesn't... Scrap Imp doesn't... It does not do much. Let me take a 6-4, I think. No. I know it dies to trade and dagger. But it's the only tempo play. Can you stop drawing spells? I want to draw minions! Minions! We cleared the board here. Oh, really? They're worried about their health that much. That's very interesting to me. Alright, let's suffocate that. Spells. Spells! We got a little buddy alert. Oh, where he going? Where he going?
I wonder.
We can live with this. The only downside is we don't get any minions down now to bait the poison. But Forging is a decent blockade for the poison. Shadow Waltz also is. Yeah, that's a good friend. That was an evolve. Okay, I see. So this actually lets us activate that, which is cool. Pulls the poison hit. Annoyed about the lifesteal, but... Kidnap?
That's all, friend.
Awesome. Yesterday's Pally topped at 8, I think, Spidey. Not quite as many as I wanted. But still a very fun run. I'm haunted by the game with that Pally deck where we had the perfect early game you could imagine and got just absolutely hammered by a mage with all the answers. Oh, that one haunts me. But today's a new day. We have a friend. Deathborn was the only thing they didn't have. We had Lost in the Jungle. This is on coin. We had Lost in the Jungle and 2 jury duties in hand. So like Lost in the Jungle, then jury duty, then jury duty. GG. But they immediately played Firefly to counter the Lost in the Jungle. And then we couldn't do the jury duties because we couldn't do them the way we wanted to because they played the dormant minion. The imprisoned observer that has the 2 damage AoE. We could just never get anything set down on board, and every turn their counters were kind of ideal. Row the Stegodon, I think. We want different cards. Such as these. These are very, very good. Yes, more minions. Lionel Ricci. I'm happy to see that. We've been facing a lot of warlocks here. People are picking up on what warlock is laying down. I call that worth it. Hold on to your butts. He definitely could put down Brawler first. Get the buff with tempo. But I think we want a Fungal Mancer, probably. Scrap Imp wasn't unnerfed? It was! Yeah, if you're hovering on the extension, it might say +2/+1, but it's actually +2/+2. Is Warlock a 1 Scrap Imp pony? Are there other archetypes? There's a bunch of other archetypes. More so in Warlock than other classes, I think, actually. So, my first Warlock 12 of the meta didn't have Scrap Imp. If it had an Evil Genius, it only had one of them. Didn't have Mischievous Imp. It had 3 Enhanced Dreadlords. A lot of people are running, like, double or triple Mischievous Imp. That's probably the most powerful archetype. A lot of people are running a lot of Evil Geniuses. People are running, Soul Council, what's it called? 1 mana card that transforms your hand into the big demons. That's a win condition. Just Zoo by itself can get you there. Control Warlock with a lot of AoE and hard removal can get you there. It's probably the class with the most archetypes, actually. Shadow Council, yeah. Still fungal. Don't see much of a reason to do anything else. You could do this and this, I suppose. Trade there. I'm gonna punch him. This is cool and all. I can't count. I thought we could do this too, but whatever. Though I should have played the Bog Beast. How does painting work with Scrap Imp? Way it works with any other minion. Do you get a dormant imp? Oh, you mean like if you paint and then kill the Scrap Imp? You would get a dormant imp. Yeah. So like you could get the Scrap Imp effect again, I believe. I haven't tried it, but... Give me 2 damage. You didn't. You didn't have. Okay. They gave me a scrap. We could do the 50-50. Do we need... I don't know that we really need to risk it, though. Just gonna sit still for a second. If they got... Twisting Nether... Probably comes down here, which is kind of fine with me. I wanted the 2 damage to make it guaranteed lethal. Shoot the bomber, play the suffocating. Can't Nether. True, it's only turn 7. Feels like we've been in this game for a while, but it's only just begun. Funny thing is, I'm considering a 1 out of 4 for lethal, even though I didn't do the 1 out of 2. Is that weird? Could we coin into something? We sure could. I mean, tap it is what I mean. Just tap? Nope. Alright, I'm just gonna... make a little board space and waltz. Pretty safe play. Defiled. Remember Defiled, chat? Very good thing that Warlock doesn't have Defile in this meta. That was 8 wins? 8 is a very common result for me very recently. Oh, we got 9 wins. Damn, I was wrong. 9 wins. So disappointing. Boop. And... against Warlock again? Lots of Warlocks up here. Let me throw the Mortal Coil away. I might play that on 1. I may. Even better, we play this on 1. Smasher, huh? Ah, Smasher passed. Alright, we got a spell discover. That'll be... That'll be what? I mean, we could raid leader. Or we could triple one. Triple one has gotta be better, right? Yeah, it absolutely has gotta be. In fact, the way we can do it is... Shoot. Alright. This 2-drop and this 8-drop have similar stats. Whew. Highest cost card. I'd like to keep that around, but we'll use this if we have to. Hog indeed. I mean, this would be real nice right now. We don't need the butt rug. I think Nightshade is good. We don't need the butt rug. Like, it's cool and all, but we have plenty of, like, win conditions otherwise. Let's just take this real good tempo right now. We could definitely have gone 2-1-1. But a 7-5 on turn 4 feels pretty good here. They might have a ping and a 3 mana AoE, not 3 mana removal. Possible. Circle. Yeah, now we put our Voidwalker down. Oh! Look at you. Look at you. I know it's just a huge loss of momentum, but Scrap Imp is going to again gain us momentum in a couple of turns. Also, I'm trying to clear the imps away because of that location. It actually did kind of good work for them. What an interesting Warlock opponent. See, now this is a win condition that I didn't mention. Because I was unfamiliar with it. By a library win condition. Okay, I don't care about this one, but the 2 damage might really come in handy here. We're gonna have as many, like, this is an incredible pile of stats. Now our main goal is to greed, yes, I agree. But our main goal now is to not perish. We're shifting gears to tempo. And I think we're good. I think we'll be okay. Famous last words, I know. Lifesteal doesn't matter to me. We'll kill that so we don't get surprised by any infuse. Freeze this. Dormant. And taunt. Beetle can come down soon for some armor. Okay. Wow. That's super annoying. Our 2 3/3s are going in there, I guess. Oh, you came to play today. I would siphon this if I... Ooh. I might just rip that.
Black ice.
I should have played the Faceless Lackey sooner just in case, but... Argus is pretty good for us. Our Dormant coming out is hopefully good news, unless they play another poison. Oh my god. Am I gonna lose this? Oh my god. Should have played Battle Fiend, I guess? We're looking for maybe Ice Berry. Hang on a second, hang on a second. Let's think. Right? That's all of our stats. They got through all of those stats. That snail play was mwah. I have pings in my deck, but not in that hand. Luckily, Warlock doesn't have a ton of burn. $15, $18, $22. We are 1 off lethal if they go into the 5/5. So they go into the... Wait, what? They have a, what? Mortal Coil or something? As far as our draws, Forge Ring, Siphon, Shadow, Waltz, Fungalmancer, Stegodon, those are all acceptable. Creepy Painting, maybe we could... Well, none of these are actually taunt minions. Oh, really? Imp deck! Imp deck! Oh, you should have done that sooner, my friend. So we get to steal a rush minion, put another body on our board, buff our taunt in hand. They have to run this into here, unless the opponent has 2 spells, because we have now put counter on the board. Us being at 9 health feels fine. We're not even dead to Alexstrasza. Thinking through their outs. I can't think of any. Thank you, Lobotomizami Tuto, for that follow. Welcome to the fun dungeon. This was the difference maker, this Felma. This was the thing that let us push all the damage after they removed all our other stats. They ripped through like 7 or 8 huge minions, but all it takes is 1. Hoo 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 hoo. Oh my god. The games in this meta are fun, I think. Like, it was a bit zany, but it was a really fun back and forth. Not sure if our opponent will walk away with the same sentiment or not. Double digits. I like this hand. With Dredger's Staff, you want more minions, but Shadow Waltz is good enough to keep if you've got Curve already. Very strong card. Shadow Waltz is another centerpiece. Like, I could see a deck built entirely around Shadow Waltz. Like, Shadow Waltz plus the Warlock Legendary that summons the things with the shadow spells. That's a way, that's an archetype to build around too.
The exit is this way.
Okay. In case we don't hit a paladin spell, I want to play this now. So let's see here. Freezing Trap. Freezing Trap. Could make sense next turn. Let's do Freezing Trap actually. With a bit of a tempo. Like if they trade and heal or something, we can... I see. Yes, so we could freezing. Just play this. Hit, ping, play that. Freezing in this next turn if this doesn't make sense. Freezing doesn't make sense here, I think. If we can just get a nice ping off. This feels good. And you play the 2-4 rather than the 2-3 taunt, I think. Okay. Kill. Waltz. I like it. Low-key OP. Agreed. So they can heal and hit, but that's using 2 mana. They could also buff this, but that's using a charge, right? We want them to be using resources. We have this to trade in, we have this. We found ourselves a freezing trap target. We want to draw. Kind of. We don't have to. Trade this. Well, I think everybody understands that Shadow Waltz is OP, but you could argue that it's low-key OP in the sense that I listed, like, 6 Warlock archetypes that are really good at winning earlier, and I didn't include Shadow Waltz archetype. So, like, you think of Shadow Council, Scrap Imp, Genius, Mischievous Imp first, and then you think of this, but it deserves to be in the list for sure. I'll draw. Boom, boom. So it's both OP and maybe a little bit low-key. As the freezing trap pays off. Almost sad to see... almost sad to thwart a recurring villain. Because that's a funny thing to try to pull off, but... Maybe just the big beast and some smorky action. They can buff and kill the first level of the big beast. But, I don't know, is Forge Ring better? Maybe. Maybe that is better. Get Dreadlord. Could do Forge Ring with Genius next turn. Hogsteed? Yeah, yeah. Maybe they felt that attacking was all that they could do, but they didn't put a lot of pre-thought into it. Fog Beast, Forge Ring with Genius, into Dreadlord, or Forge Ring now because this can get... It's fine. I'm really splitting hairs with this decision. I'm so glad Light Bomb isn't around, at least. You don't like the trade? Why would I trade? This is not a threat whatsoever. And the main goal is Smork before Priest draws OP stuff. I've been thinking that I trade too much, actually. Is Light Bomb around? I haven't seen it. You could make an argument that I don't like the trade, but this is not the moment to make that argument. You could say, oh, but Apotheosis. It's still... You can't think of hindsight there. Face is the place. That being said, how the hell are we gonna kill this? Raid leader, help. Three, 6, 4. Spell Lackey. Worth a try? Maybe. These is bad, right? Like anything we could get from that is probably bad. Rain Soul. Rain Soul's not great though. What if we? I'm just gonna sit. We'll figure it out next turn. The reason I clicked this button is maybe we get Bog Beast back. That would be nice. Missed attack on purpose. $11 damage on board. Okay, so I could have done 2 damage, I guess. I mean, no time is the real reason, but... Huh? Damn, if I only got that damage. Okay, you're a painting target, but how? I need board space. My order was terrible, by the way. It's fine. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that this came down after this, right? That's all that matters. That's what the thing is for. I did it right? Yes. Okay, good. You die too. Now we push the damage and we get the 2 fire. Voice out. Okay. Just Smork, yeah. Bobby, you never Smork. Ruined my plan. Ah. It's fine. Didn't really expect it to survive against Priest, but it's still worth doing. I mean, we set up lethal this way, I suppose. Scream! Okay. The game continues. Let's start tapping. Kind of a slow turn from us, but... that's not remotely true. We have gone... I don't really see a problem with AoE here. 4, 5, 6, 10. And Al would really hit the spot here. Holy cow. Holy ow. Like, if they're gonna give us a good AoE board, I'll take it. I realize it might be bait. But what do I care? I'm the bait master. Should have tapped earlier. Let me get some stats out. Nostradamus command. Come on! The villain has recurred. Dragon Slayer. I guess I was thinking about siphoning that, but we always have Dream if it gets out of hand, right? Oh my god, we could just draw Ysera right now. I guess we do that.
Run to the core. Let us dance the night.
Would you say you're a masturbator? No, I would say the more subtle version of the very same joke that I said only a minute hence. That's what I would say. But that's just me.
I have prayed for days.
Now what? I like Kobold. Double trade into that thing. We could Siphon, we could Dream. Face reveal. Ysera's not yet ready. We need to dump our hand a little bit more. Need to do a big dumper play. I guess we use Siphon. Could also have put the taunt on this thing. There's ideas there, but this seems like a better unit to taunt anyway. Music amping me up. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we got lethal, right? I want big imp gang boss. Woo! Final boss, y'all. Can we get some energies in the chat? And some energies. My tags get untagged every time. Yeah, the tags should be... There's 5 tags listed, but it says 0 out of 25. Man, I hate this platform. Alright. Let's try this again. English. You have barely energy for yourself. That's fair. You're here to relax. I understand that. I understand that. Goku's Spirit Bomb. Y'all like the new Dragon Ball movie? I'm not super into the franchise or anything, but... Frank's been watching through it, my good friend and roommate. Watching through the whole franchise. I've been peeking from a distance. We don't need Stegodon. The other two are good. Myself! That's always the final boss. Isn't that how it goes? Alright, if that's your play. Then we like the Rust Sworn here. Got some flexibility here. The Imp Gang almost guarantees a target for Evil Genius. There. Wow. I think I really like Imp Gang on this board. Tempted to get these puppies going. But Imp Gang doesn't die. I know the 2-2 can get a value trade, I can live with that. I think I like this. You think you can see me? You think you know who I am? You don't know who I am. You don't know anything about me. You don't know the first thing about me, Sergeant Gung-Ho. I know you got here by stepping on the necks of others who you could read with your magnifying glass. Not me. You know nothing, Sergeant Gung Snow. They're really putting some thought into this, I respect that. I see it happen a decent amount of the time, Seb. Interestingly, they did not leave themselves a lot of time for the harder choices. Oh, Soul Red! Oh my god. Oh. First, this. When you get to high level play, it's honestly about 50-50 whether it procs or not. I never proc it. I'm terrible at these guesses. But players who actually know what they're doing can think through it quite well. Like Isherwood, for example, I bet he's really good at the Murlocula. Not the Murlocula, the Murloc-Homes. Well, at least they didn't get great cards. They did find their early game, though. Ooh, I'm interested in this Scrap Imp. Romantically. Man, could be better, but... Who's complaining? Important thing is remembering the cards in hand at the start. The rest is usually not too difficult. It's funny you put it that way, because I feel like the easy part is remembering the cards in hand at the start, and the rest gets difficult. We have different orientations to it. If you kill one, you leave your 3/3 open to get killed. Which then lets the lackey hit. If you don't kill one, the 3/3 survives, but the lackey doesn't necessarily hit. You could just put this down. Bit of a puzzle. I think in a lot of ways it's better to not make these trades, but I will take one off the board. Yeah, I was just saying it's easier for me to remember than it is for me to predict, personally. Alright, that's the last Holmes cards. Now they can start playing their own damn cards. We got a combo here. We got a combo. Want a combo meal? Am I tapping? Shoot this. Play this. 5/6. Give it more health. But then there's like Siphon Soul is the thing. The 5/1 is really nice on the board. I worry a bit about Siphon Soul. But I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. We get our Dreadlord. Yeah, right, we get our Dreadlord anyway, so let's do it. Buff the other minion instead, true. That works as well, honestly. Because then they both... That works. Cool. Hellfire. Abyssal. That's much worse than Hellfire. I want the face damage. I want to start dealing damage. Because this Warlock will outpace us if we give them infinite time. Okay. Well, we've got a little bit of a combo of our own, don't we? Thank you! Now what do you have? General? Uh-huh. That would have been a nice thing to steal too. Oh, good lord. Draw me. Shadow Weaver is pretty nice. We can smork with Shadow Weaver. We can smork this way. We don't have a lot of amazing stuff left in our deck. We could draw like a sketchy, we could draw suffocating, shadows, shadow waltz, fungal mancer. Those are all pretty important. One more real good AoE they probably have us done for here. I almost wonder if I should have. Oof. Bad draw. Good draw. I thought about popping this open. I thought about killing this. There's a lot of different lines you could take. I think face is the place. Like, they can get through our taunts this way, but they need what? They need a taunt of their own. Or... busted AoE. Yeah, the music is setting the mood, that's for sure. Like an Argus? An Orcus? Among Us? Ayo! Love to kill a warlock the turn that mischievous imp comes down. Yeah! My last 12 was a warlock 3 days ago, so I guess we found our class. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Woo! Let's pick an MVP to golden. Since Ironbeak Owl is not in our deck, I guess it can't be the owl. The Augmentations were good. Librarian was pretty good. I mean, Genius is a fairly obvious candidate. Scrap Imp, though. Might be the Scrap Imp. Probably already have a golden of one or both of those. Painting did a lot of good work. Shadow Waltz was good. What do you think? Creepy painting from the one game. Waltz. Waltz did a lot of work. Reward me. I'm Scrooge McDuck swimming in the piles of gold. Let's do a Shadow Waltz. We don't have a golden yet. Creepy painting was really good. I want to say Shadow Waltz did more for us. Overall. Scrap Imp and the Genius were definitely up there. Beautiful. Plus, I want to see the creepy, beautiful people dance.